In today's video about the currently unreleased cars in Grand Theft Auto 5, following the two that I actually released yesterday, about in fact the Nero and the Comet Retro, we're actually going to be covering the Progen Itali Gtb Custom today. And I'm going to be talking to you guys all about this car, the customizations that can be done to it, and whether or not I think you guys are going to be wanting to buy this when it does eventually drop in Grand Theft Auto Online in the coming weeks and months. So, if you guys do end up enjoying the video, then be sure to go and drop a like down below, as I'm going to be telling you how you guys can get your hands on this car already before it's even released in game, and much more. So, let's go. So the Progen Itali Gtb, and specifically the GTB Custom, is actually a supercar that's going to be added into Grand Theft Auto Online in the coming weeks. Now, like the Nero that we actually covered yesterday, this thing's actually going to be coming in two different versions. In fact, it's going to be the Progen Itali Gtb, and then the custom variant is a separate car. Now, we don't really know what's going to make them so special. We don't know how these are going to actually be handled in Grand Theft Auto Online. But as of now, the stats are hardly any different. But the custom version does have some slight kind of extra styling upgrades to it. An actual, I believe, extra customization that can be done in Los Santos Customs and Benny's Garage to make it a bit more of a sporty, more hardcore racing car, as opposed to the original Progen Itali Gtb. So let's talk about price. We do actually know the price that this is going to clock in at in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, the original Progen Itali Gtb is actually going to clock in at only $1,189,000. Expensive, but not ridiculous money by any stretch of the imagination. And then to add to that, if you would like the custom version, you're going to have to pay the best part of a 500 grand premium, exactly 495,000 more, which is going to clock in at $1,684,000. Again, not insane money, being that this car is super fun to drive. Now let's talk a bit about the car itself. So the car, the Itali Gtb Custom, the one that I tried out here, I didn't worry too much with the standard version, which is slightly lower spec. This thing is a relatively light car from what I felt, at least playing it. It's difficult to really get a real hang of the cars, especially when they're not actually released, because we don't know quite how they're going to be introduced by Rockstar and how they're going to promote them, so we don't know whether they kind of conform to the specs that we'd expect them to. But I do feel that this car was quite light from my testing of it. It's very fast. Is again, like I said about the Nero yesterday, it's not going to be breaking any land speed records, as I also said on Twitter. It's not going to be breaking any records, but it does feel like it could be a potential replacement for the Turismo in the Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of F1 racing scene, or the Grand Prix racing scene, which is still very prevalent even today, years down the line. Because this thing does feel somewhat like the Turismo in so much as, while it's not the fastest car that we have available to us, it's somewhat light, it's relatively light, and it really just has this real kind of flat to the ground feel about it. Now, it's not entirely perfect. The grip on it is not going to be breaking any records, like I said. It's really not anywhere up there with the RE7B or the Tyrus or anything. But this thing does really like to stick to the ground. It has a lot of downforce, despite the fact that it feels somewhat lighter than the rest of the other supercars in the game. It does feel like it's it almost feels kind of kit car-esque, in so much as you can kind of see the inside of it, especially with the roll cage. Does kind of have this idea that it's kind of a more tracked, a kind of hardcore racing car. Hopefully that somewhat made sense. Now, this car can actually be customized, like I said, in LS Customs and Benny's Garage. In LS Customs, it has all of your standard upgrades. You can do the windows, the colors. You can actually change a few different bonnet options. You can change the different spoilers, of which I think it has about 5 or 6. I really enjoy this kind of bright candy red color here. I just put a bright pearlescent to go with it, just to really make it stand out. I wanted it to really shine in that LS sunshine. But I did put on this carbon spoiler at the back with some carbon splitters. You can choose at the front, because it's the racing version of this car, the Itali GTB, you can actually choose a bunch of different things for the fins at the front to really give it this kind of hardcore racing look. And I really like the outcome of it. The inside, you can actually have the option of different roll cages, whether they be the primary options, or I believe the carbon options, or secondary colors. The roll cage really does add to it. It has a carbon cover over the engine through the back window there. And you can actually choose to put one of these bright carbon strips over the roof, which I think came out pretty well. Now, you can also take this to Benny's Garage, like I said. I don't know the extent of the options they're actually going to have there, but you can of course do the interiors. I do believe there are also some liveries for this, to the number of about 10 different liveries, to really reinforce this idea that it's a hardcore racing car. In fact, I was talking to Jake PW on Twitter last night. You guys may have seen him on Twitter before, and he was actually talking about the fact that this thing does have the Garage 59 livery on it from real life. Now, here's a picture of it on screen here, so you can actually see what it actually does look like. and he kind of compared it to the McLaren 650 GT3, which he said he was kind of excited to make this car when it's released, to turn it into this 650S, because it does really have this hardcore racing style to it, and it has of course been somewhat styled on the McLaren 650S by the fact that they've straight up taken the pretty much the near identical clone of the Garage 59 livery from it. So thank you, Jake, for pointing that out. I had not realised that. Now, to play with this car, you are in fact going to need to be playing on GTA 5 on the PC. There'll actually be a link to the mod that you can use to get this in the description down below, so you guys can follow the instructions there. And all you need to do is just install this mod, load up your game on GTA 5 on the PC, and pretty much just straight up spawn it into the game. It is as easy as that. And you can race around with it, you can customize it in Benny's Garage or in LS Customs, depending on how you want to do it, through trainers or through the in-game mods. And you can try it out there for yourself before it's released in the upcoming weeks/months in Grand Theft Auto Online. I know I'm very excited for this because it was a very fun car to drive. Like I said, not the craziest, fastest car I've ever seen, but I see it being a lot of fun to play with. And that's pretty much all I have to say for this video, guys. If you guys did end up enjoying it, then be sure to go and drop a like down below, as it really does help me out. As always, leave a comment down below. Tell me, what car are you most excited for that we've seen of the 3 unreleased cars so far that I've shown on the channel over the last couple of days. Leave that in a comment down below. And are you excited to go and play with this Itali Gtb custom? Leave that down there. Subscribe for more videos just like this, coming very, very soon. And finally, follow me on Twitter. Leave a link in the description down below where you can see me interact with the rest of the community members, post some Grand Theft Auto 5, real life and graphic design stuff, most days. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys all very much for watching. My name has been Flair,